Hello everyone, Happy New Year. Hope you had a happy, healthy, safety New Year. We survived 2021 and we are now heading into 2022. Hopefully things will get better despite how crazy this pandemic and COVID is still going crazy and still going on. But anyway, in today's video, I'm going to be reviewing finally for the first time the first Superman film on my YouTube channel I've been wanting to review for quite some time, from 1978. Before I dive into my own personal opinion about the first Superman film, the first thing I want to do is dive into a little history about the history of Superman and how Superman has made so much an impact on pop culture to become such an icon in the history of comic books and film history too. I wanted to go out by saying I am a huge diehard comic book fan, although I'll admit, Batman is my favorite superhero, but I do have respect for Superman, and I've always loved and enjoyed reading Superman comic books. I am very neutral. Superman was created by two Jewish comic book teenagers back in 1938 by Jerry Siegel and Joe Shuster. Superman has been around for over 80 years, from comic books, TV serials, cartoons, radio shows, movies, and other adaptations like the 1950s TV show with George Reeves, Smallville, and beyond. Stuff that has made an impact on pop culture. Even if you've never read any Superman comic books, you know just by looking at Superman, you know who Superman is. When people think of superheroes, Superman is always the first comic book hero that comes to mind. Superman has become so iconic and one of the best superhero comic book characters in the history of comic books and superheroes in general. Despite in today's video this being a movie review on the first ever Superman film with Christopher Reeves from 1978, believe it or not, this was not considered the first ever Superman film adaptation. Believe it or not, the first ever Superman film adaptation was back in 1951, Superman vs. the Mole People. And I'll admit, I haven't really seen that in a long time. That was basically like a 1 hour movie episode of the TV series with George Reeves. And also back in the 1940s, there were also the TV serials. Again, I haven't really seen those in a long time. They're not really the main focus in today's video. No disrespect to them, they're just not part of what I'm presenting and talking about in today's video. Also in today's video, we're sticking to the more basic, real serious Superman films. Plus, 2 years ago in 2020, I did a retrospect podcast on the Superman movies on my friend's YouTube channel, Cantel1408. I'll leave a link in the description for you to go check that out. After the post-1950s Superman TV show with George Reeves, fans wanted to see a more serious Superman film being taken seriously. The audience wanted to believe that a man could really fly. Before the Superman film that was made back in 1978, the film went through development hell for a couple years, through several different directors, rewrites, different producers, and different directions of how the studio wanted the Superman film to be. The first Superman film was made by Warner Brothers. The film was directed by Richard Donner, who 2 years prior directed the horror movie The Omen, and would go on to direct movies like the Lethal Weapon movies, The Goonies, and Scrooge. The film was produced by Pierre Spengler, and the story was written by Mario Puzio, who wrote the Godfather movies, and he also did the screenplay to this film. The screenplay was written by David Leslie Newman and Robert Benton. The music was composed by John Williams, who's done a lot of great movie soundtrack composed throughout the history of films like Star Wars, Jaws, Indiana Jones, E.T., Jurassic Park, etc., etc. The list goes on and on. This man is a legend. The movie stars Christopher Reeves, Margot Kidder, Gene Hackman, Marlon Brando, Ned Beatty, Jackie Cooper, and Glenn Ford. Now, the story of the first Superman is just a basic origin-telling story how Superman was born on Krypton, and his parents, Jor and Laura, sent their son Kal-El to Earth because Krypton was going to be destroyed. Kal-El was raised in Smallville by the Kents as Clark Kent, After the death of his stepfather, Jonathan Kent, Clark Kent learns where he is from and grows up to be Superman, moves to Metropolis, and becomes a reporter for the Daily Planet. He fights crime, protects the innocent, and goes up against Lex Luthor, and Clark Kent meets Lois Lane. This movie revolutionized and set the tone for making superhero movies popular and serious. If it was not for this movie, we would not have had the Tim Burton and Chris Nolan Batman movies and the Marvel Cinematic Universe. It does a great job keeping the story very simple by introducing Superman slowly's origin and creating the arc and the character development of the rest of this film. Alright, now let's talk about the big main event and the main big character of this film, Christopher Reeves as Superman. He is my favorite and the best Superman actor ever. The first time I saw this movie as a little kid in 2001 when I was 8 years old, I was at an awe job like, wow, that's not an actor, that's the real Superman to me. The moment Clark Kent goes inside a building and switches from his regular clothes to the Superman costume, you feel like he really was the real Superman, as if like Superman jumped out of the comic book and came to real life. I always laugh when he walks out and a man shouts something at him, I don't remember what the man says, and Superman responds, excuse me. He flies out of the building to save Lois Lane. As Clark Kent, he's nerdy, clumsy, goofy, quirky, and trying to hide his secret identity. One thing I'd like to point out is that I can agree with Superman fans. How do people not recognize Clark Kent as Superman with those glasses on? It's not like he's Batman who wears a mask. But then eventually when Clark Kent turns into Superman, he's charming, charismatic, heroic, has good posture. Before Christopher Reeves was cast as Superman, they originally wanted Robert De Niro, Burt Reynolds, Robert Redford, Paul Newman, or Sylvester Stallone for the part as Superman. Honestly, thank goodness that Richard Donner went with an unknown actor. Granted, all the above actors are very good actors, but unfortunately, they're not really like Superman material. They're not the first actors that come to mind to play Superman. It's amazing how Christopher Reeves, being one of the best actors to have played Superman, he wasn't a big diehard comic book fan, yet he did such a great, fantastic job in this film as Superman. I remember reading that former bodybuilder, David Prowse, as you all know, who played, he played Darth Vader, but he only played Darth Vader in the costume, not the voice of Darth Vader in the Star Wars films. He trained Christopher Reeves for the role in this film to look muscular, despite that Christopher Reeves was already athletic, but Reeves wanted to look big and muscular, not wear a muscle suit like George Reeves did back in the 1950s TV show. I love the flying sequences in this film. They are great, terrific, fantastic. Richard Donner really made the audience believe a man could fly. It's amazing how they were able to accomplish the flying techniques way before the big screens of the CGI. Another great performance in this film is Margot Kidder as Lois Lane is great. I love her chemistry between her and Christopher Reeves as Clark Kent Superman. To me, they are the ultimate dynamic duo, Lois and Clark. She's got a great personality. She's a little bit mean and something to Clark at times, just like how Lois Lane is in the comic books. I love it when she turns down a date with Clark and has her heart set on Superman because of how more brave and heroic Superman is. And it's also fun how she does not realize how Clark Kent and Superman are the same person. Superman takes her flying to show her what it feels like flying above the rest of the world. She's a little scared, but with Superman by her side, she feels safe knowing he will never let her go. Lois Lane is definitely your damsel in distress, again, like in a superhero comic book or movies. It's like Lois Lane came to life and out of the comic books. I especially love the first scene when Lois and Superman first meet. Superman saves her from falling off a building and goes, "It's okay, miss, I got you." And Lois' response is, "You got me? Who's got you?" She has that what the heck moment face, what is happening? How is this even happening? And who is this person? Now, even though I do like this movie, I will admit, there are some minor complaints I do have about the movie. It does have some cheesy moments, even Superman's Christopher Reeve has his funny one-liners every now and then. For example, when he's stopping this robber who's climbing up a building like Spider-Man, and the robber looks at him and he goes, "Something wrong with the elevator," and he screams and falls. Then Superman catches and saves him and reports him to the police. Also, another minor complaint in full. I'm probably gonna get some like maybe some like agreement or disagreements on this. Gene Hackman, I love him as an actor, but I'm sorry, honestly, I did not think he was a good Lex Luthor in this film at all. I'm sorry, just I have a hard time taking him seriously in this film. He's too goofy, campy, silly, and too comedic at times. His plan is nothing crazy or diabolical, it's too simple and straightforward. You know, I really wish they could have cast in this film Telly Savalas as Lex Luthor in this movie. He could have been a good Lex Luthor, and he has the look for it. Well, he had the look, but now unfortunately he died years ago. I don't remember how he died or when he died. Ned Beatty plays one of his side henchmen. He was a good character actor, Ned Beatty, but he's too goofy too and campy in this film. I kind of feel bad for him because it kind of an insult him, especially how he was a really good serious character actor, Ned Beatty. Also, one other minor complaint and flaw about this film, but this is very minor, not that big of a deal. Glenn Ford as Jonathan Kent, he was good and great, but I kind of felt they kind of killed him off like way too early in the series. I always loved how in Superman comic books or other TV shows and cartoon adaptations, where when Clark Kent fell down and unsure on whether or not he did the right thing, I always loved how Jonathan was always by his side trying to give him the best advice as best as he could, letting him know that no matter what happens in life, you gotta make a choice, good or bad, or whatever happens, is the right decisions. But at the same time, I feel like the death scenes at the funeral, Clark says all these things I could do, all these powers, and I couldn't save him. It shows how, with all the powers that Clark Kent has, he cannot stop his stepfather from dying. And it is very sad, I will say. A moment like this should have been saved in like a future sequel or maybe the end of the movie, but it's really hard to like say where they should have kept or saved that. Maybe probably like maybe in the third or fourth film they should have killed off Jonathan Kent and have him alive for a little bit in the series. One thing I'd like to talk about too in this film is the performances from Marc McClure and Jackie Cooper as Perry White and Jimmy Olsen. Although Jackie Cooper, I mean, he was a good like Perry White, but he's not like my favorite compared to like John Hamilton as Perry White from the '50s TV show. And Marc McClure is pretty good and okay, decent style, but he's not really in the film that much. It's really like hard to comment like more on his performance because Jimmy Olsen's like a side minor, like a sidekick character of Superman, Superman's pal in the comic books and other like adaptations of the shows and movies. Also, he's funny, he's quirky, and he's a very nice kid. One other thing I like to point out in Superman, the reverse time travel. Well, according to my father, he said that that was the thing he did in the original comic books, reverse time and fixed time when something went bad or something went wrong. I can never understand like why Superman fans complain about this or question about this to death like crazy. And so before I wrap up this video, I want to talk about John Williams' score. It's awesome, legendary, epic, one of the best superhero movie soundtracks ever. Anytime I hear the soundtrack, I get pumped up, excited, and it chills.